everyone. I'm going to be taking over from Nicole this year, if she lets me after this call, hopefully. And my name's Catherine. So I'm currently a primary school teacher and I work 4 days a week in P4 at the minute this year. I've been P5 for the last number of years and I've been the ICT coordinator in my school since I joined in 2019 now. And I'm hoping to relieve it off to somebody else this year now that I've started doing this.
I'm also 4 days too, so that rules me out.
I love being 4 days. It's excellent.
Yeah. Friday. What day are you off?
A Thursday. What about
Thursday.
you?
Friday.
Oh, I know. I wished I had a Friday, but I wasn't allowed. Anyway, so on the screen, you'll see our team at Did You Know This email address, hopefully, because I can't see the screen anymore. And if you wouldn't mind writing it down.
Oh, it just disconnected. In fact, we just lost you entirely, Catherine. So yeah, team@digiknowthis.com. That'll essentially give you access to Catherine. You'll have mine from last year anyway, but team@digiknowthis.com will be the one that you got the email for today's call from. Catherine and then our post-primary specialist, Louise, share that email address, and they're very happy to answer a few questions here and there as well. And I can hop onto it too, just to try and lighten the load, because as you lovely lot will know, you kept me very busy last year, which was a great problem to have. So tag team and collaborations for the win, which I'm very delighted about. One of the things that I'm also buzzing about is that in our sign-ups for this session is, you know, that we usually ask for people to share, like, what type of things would you like to talk about in this session? What would you like to cover? And there's a right old smorgasbord of activities that you want to cover, which is fantastic. And it kind of really sets Catherine up for success in terms of what's going to happen for the remaining sessions in the DigiShare series. Because there's plenty to get stuck into there. I think you've made it back to us, friend.
Yeah, I'm back. It just threw me out. It just said, "Do you want to join the call?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
Technology. You're grand. You're here.
There we go. Hopefully you should see the screen again now.
We got you.
The code and the Mentimeter. And now I can see my screen again. So that's even better.
There we are. That's what we wanted. All right, Mentimeter.
I would say if technology doesn't break at some stage or another, like, we're all in the wrong place here. You know, that's what we're here for.
It's wild.
I always say people find it very relieving whenever technology doesn't work for us. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
I hate it when it doesn't work for you and then you get all flustered and you're like, oh, please work for me.
I can probably share it for you if you need.
Oh, there. I'm hoping you guys can see it now. It should be popping up there.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, you're sharing over the Menti. Yeah. Perfect.
I'm going to refresh my Mentimeter and see what we're getting and see what people are using at the minute. Oh, Pages, Adobe Express, Seesaw.
Can you send in the link for that again?
Yes. Oh yes, because I've started sharing my Mentimeter screen. Sorry, I
see the join at Mentimeter with
there you go. I've popped it into the chat there.
Thank you, Nicole. There we go. Oh, Minecraft. Come on, Beatbots. Just too easy. Brilliant. I'll give you another wee minute. If there's any others that pop up. Super. Okay. That should probably be all of us. So hopefully there's something in there that you have not used maybe, or that you've forgotten about, or that you think, oh yes, I do really want to use that. And that's given you a bit of a kick in the right direction, thinking, oh yes, I must try microbits again this year. Or maybe I want to try Just Too Easy again this year. And if there's things in that then that come up through the call that people need help with, we could maybe look at that for one of our future calls.
Good shout.
I'll share that Mentimeter page out on our email later on that we send, so people have got a wee copy of it.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's head back to our presentation. God, my internet has been very, very slow.
That's life,
Voice
baby.
Wi-Fi.
I know. Try trying to run events in
On
hotels.
school Wi-Fi. On hotel Wi-Fi.
Hotels and university. Actually, schools nearly have better Wi-Fi than venues.
Oh, I'm not sure. Ours is pretty bad. But thank you very much for sharing those. And again, I said I'll share those later. So last year, I'm sure lots of people on the call did join DigiShare, but we just wanted to go over our ethos of DigiShare just for anyone who's new with us this time. So we've got a big teamwork and sharing ethos in DigiShare, and you've just done that. You've just shared something that you used recently. So I was wondering, can you think to yourself about your own ethos and your own sharing? Is there something that you could share in your own setting now to other people that you've just seen or that you shared that maybe that you haven't been telling people about? Because sometimes we're very good at doing things in our own rooms and not then going down to the staff room and saying, oh, by the way, I tried such and such today on Adobe Express, or I did this on Just Too Easy today. And just passing on those little bits of information really help other staff get involved and want to try new things, maybe ask you about it as an ICT coordinator. The things then that you have asked us about this year, the things that you're requesting, the things that you want DigiShares about are on your screen now. So they're our top 10 at the moment. There were lots of other bits in there, but they're the ones that were coming up lots and lots and lots. So obviously the ICT coordinators were on this one now. And then moving down to how we're looking at skills and curriculum progression, planning and tracking, supporting staff and action planning, policy development, all those sorts of things, right down to AI, digital leaders, e-safety to the pupil end of things. So what I was thinking for this year is to try and fit in at least one of those sessions. So that's my kind of thought process at the moment and the way that it might pan out, hopefully. But obviously things are subject to change and the dates will need to be confirmed. But I thought the way that we've laid it out would make a nice progression through from being a coordinator down to then planning, tracking, and all the way through that. And people can join in then as they wish for different bits that they need. Okay.
No, I'm actually sorry. One thing I was just going to say might be helpful. I hate to bring up the I word, I really do. But the school up the road from us has an inspection at the minute. Too bad you take it the first couple of weeks, like nothing to show really. But it would be helpful maybe if, you know, the way all the local schools are like vultures and they're like, right, what do they want? Tell us what they were looking for. Maybe if we took notes on that and then we had an idea, you know, so we know when it does come what they're looking for.
Could do, however, sorry, Catherine, if you don't mind me hopping into this one, because that's where we want a very frequent email I get is inspection. And I know there's definitely other people on this call who we've had this kind of chat with before about inspection stuff. Is like, it is so unique to your context.
That's true, yeah.
That like honestly, the inspection I was involved in last year, I couldn't have just lifted all of that and given it to another school and been like, go do everything that I just did, because it was so unique to Oakwood. There was nothing that the inspector asked me for. He didn't say, can you show me and then insert document here. He said, can you show me, insert skill, insert practice, you know, not like show me your policy on or show me your planner on. It was so broad that you showed what you wanted to show.
Yeah.
So if the school down the road shows 40 million different planners, they show every single planner under the sun, then that's grand for them. They're not going to turn around to you and go, can I see all your planners? They're going to say, like, how do you know a broad and balanced curriculum is being taught? Yeah. You might choose your planners as the evidence for that, but equally you might choose your Just Too Easy journal or your Seesaw journal as the evidence for that. So I can send it through again, but essentially the 5 questions that ETI give out is all you should focus on. Everything else is just hype. Everything else is just people trying to get, you know, sometimes unfortunately also principals doing the carrot versus the stick, going, you must do this for ETI. And it's like, actually, just show our practice as authentically as it is. It's not there to catch you out. I found it was a really enjoyable professional dialogue conversation. And I know I sound really nerdy that I said it was enjoyable, but it legitimately was. All I did was talk about what we were doing. And some of it, like we were on a journey. We weren't anywhere by any stretch of the imagination at like, you know, where the school wanted to be. They hadn't reached the destination. And we just said where we're going, and we can't do it all in 1 year. And they totally were on with that. So I would be cautious of having some big master mega document of everything that every inspector is asking every school about ICT. Then it becomes a tick list of pressure, Colleen. And I would just
no, I do get that. Yeah.
That I'd be like, I don't want to freak people out that here's Did You Know This saying this is all the stuff you have to do for ETI. I'm like, it's absolutely not, you know.
Yeah.
So I would just tread carefully there. I'm all for sharing, definitely share practice, and we'll definitely use breakout rooms and things like that as a way to say, here's what I was asked. But just because, you know, one school's asked it doesn't mean that you would even have to answer it in the same way.
Yeah.
It would be totally unique.
Yeah.
And I think that gives a lot of power and autonomy to schools. It's like, it's all right, just do it the way you're doing it.
Hopefully there is nice.
It really is. Like, well, I haven't heard anyone have a very bad inspection with the new framework. The new framework seems to be, the unions have got it right. You know, they've fought for the right setup. It seems to be very good now. So I take a lot of power in that. Sorry for hijacking, Catherine. There was me going, I'm going to
give me a minute to get my camera turned back on because it was not working either. Who knows what's going on? I'm blaming my ICT, my school Wi-Fi. So what I was going to then go on to is just saying there was a quick tip just on here before we got started of 45 lessons based on the Northern Ireland curriculum. There's a QR code there and the link, and that'll be on our email at the end. And I'll post it again at the end on the last slide too, so you can see it again. But it is an excellent resource to use. It's got video tutorials. It goes across the world around its topics. It dips into literacy. It works across all the key stages. I've used some this year already with my Key Stage 1 children that I hadn't used before. And I have passed on a few to higher up the school that I've seen thinking, you know, oh, these look really good for the topics that I knew I did last year that I didn't have them for then. I think you should use these now. So it's a really good one as well to get some teacher buy-in for using things and getting them on board, because the tutorials are there for you. So it's really easy for them to follow. Oh, thank you, Nicole, for sharing the link. Okay. So back to why we're here, the role of being an ICT coordinator in school. These are the things that I think the role entails, the things that I have been doing over the years. It doesn't necessarily mean these are all the things that you'll do in your school or that is expected of you in your school. Every school is slightly different, as we all know. You may have more things to do, less things to do. Hopefully it's less, or maybe it might be slightly different. So the first thing that comes to mind for me whenever I think of coordinating is action planning and my policies. My slide hopefully has changed on your screen. It hasn't changed on mine. Can everyone see one that says away, not the way at the top?
Not yet.
No, and mine's just dinged across.
There we go. There we go.
Definite poor Wi-Fi. Maybe use my phone next time to hotspot off.
Vibe it out, friend. Vibe it out.
Yeah, it's fine. Slow. So what I would begin looking at is my school's ICT policy, my acceptable use policy, e-safety, and making sure I've got AI elements in there now, with especially what the children will be trying to access in school. We've already had this year having to speak to 6s and 7s in school about trying to go on ChatGPT during the day when they're in the ICT suite at lunchtime, about doing all sorts of different things, as I'm sure you're all well aware. So it's just making sure those are in your acceptable use policies now, so children understand and parents understand what things they can be accessing and what things they know about. Okay. At the beginning of the year or at the end of the year, depending on how you work, you'll be thinking about your action planning. We've just done ours there in the 5 inset days that we had, so we're ready to go. But I know some people maybe do them in June, and thinking about it and that in line with your school development plan. And then obviously then you're looking down to your planning across the curriculum and making sure you've got your 5 E's being used in ICT. You've got a progression across Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. And on that note, I would like to then think about what you do in your school. How do you plan? So we're going to have a little breakout room. And I would like the person who's been the ICT coordinator the longest in each of their breakout rooms to give us a little feedback session when they come back. So I want you to think about, what do you currently do for ICT planning in school? Do you just use the SIA tasks? Do you dip in and out of the teaching and learning units? Do you do something completely different? Okay. How do you think about planning from P1 all the way through to P7?
Maybe we'll circle around the rooms then, so I try and remember the names of them. So we had the active avatars, was the one I was in. So Claire, I know that was you being voluntold.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we had a great discussion there. Lots of people doing things in a different way. Mostly coming across as people focusing on desirable features, picking about 3 of those to be working on throughout their school. We did hear Adam mentioning, now we didn't just get the spelling of it, Kapow or something. It's an English one, so maybe he can share light to that. We were writing down that just to further research until using that resource.
I haven't heard of that one either. Adam, do you want to share
I
it?
think I've said it right.
Yeah, so it's Kapow, so Kapow. They do a lot of different topics or different areas of learning, but it's their computing scheme we would use really for the teaching and learning. We assess through the SIA tasks, but a lot of what we've sort of seen through their like general lessons are in a sense like SIA tasks too. But yeah, basically for the skills to be developed before we then assess them through the SIA tasks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I always love this, is picking up other things that are being tried out. So is that a platform that you pay for, or I see they have a free trial? I've just brought it up here.
Yeah, it is. There's like it's based on like the size of school, so you pay less if you're a smaller school, you pay more if you're a bigger school.
Gotcha. Brill. Thank you, Claire. Any other tidbits to share, or is that have you summarized it accurately there?
I think that was all. Yeah, we didn't have much time, but yeah.
I know, nailed it.
Thanks.
I don't know what the names of the other breakout rooms are. Catherine, do you want to pick on a group to? That was the active avatars there.
Yes, I was in a little small breakout room with 2 people, Gemma and Zoe. Or is it? It was Gemma. And we were talking about, they're both very new to ICT this year and last year. So we were just chatting about how they're going to get progression in place in their school, what they're going to look at and focus on this year. And both of them were saying they're very different journeys. One of the girls has only been in the role 2.5 weeks. So she was like, I'm just learning what to do and where my file is and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
And then the other school, they were looking at film and animation this year and how that's going to progress throughout the year, and looking at P1 to P7, and they're going to focus on that this year. So they're just having a desirable feature focus rather than a whole everything focus.
Yeah, that's great. Smashing.
And then I got kicked out of the call, so I'm just back in. I missed what we were hearing about there. Don't know what happened to me.
You'll get to catch up on the recording then as well.
I will.
The next other breakout rooms then, who else was who were the veteran ICT coordinators doing the reporting for the next rooms? This is where we don't all rush at once. I think you can scoot on then, they're being too shy.
Yeah, that's okay, don't worry. Hopefully you're now getting the screen back on.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so next thing that we would look at as an ICT coordinator is our assessment and evaluation, and thinking about leveling pupils, where you're keeping your evidence for your pupils, whether that's, some schools use paper systems still, whether you're moving to like a shared Google Drive, whether you're storing on Microsoft Teams. You might be in a hybrid situation at the minute. Some people are doing one thing, some people are doing another in school. So you're starting to think about, how can we draw this together so that everything's in the one place? So then you can track your pupils appropriately. And then once you're starting to track effectively really from this year, obviously we're not looking at anything from before that now, then you're thinking about internal moderation yourselves, looking at whether is my level 3 the same as my year group partners level 3, maybe the same as the year above groups level 3, and working together to try and standardize your levels. Just thinking towards maybe an external moderator coming in, which has the potential maybe to start back this year.
Ooh, heard it here first from a SIA moderator. Dun, dun, dun.
Da-da-da. No,
I mean, how delightful if you got Catherine coming in to do your moderation. Like, that would just be joyful.
yeah, she'd be in person, not on a laptop in her school that doesn't have good Wi-Fi, even though she's an IT coordinator. Way to show me up, Wi-Fi.
Sorry, I was just going to ask there, has
Yeah,
SIA leveled the Just Too Easy scheme yet? Because I heard that it was ready to go, and it was in terms of classes, the level, and I was at the Just Too Easy training there in Carrickmore in August, and was the scheme ready to go, but then it had to be leveled differently with SIA. Does anyone know anything about that?
Oh, she's gone. I can tell you from like Adobe's point of view is that it's not straightforward to get SIA to level the stuff. So they even if Just Too Easy have gone and done all the work to put the scheme together, is SIA wouldn't level their stuff. SIA would do a separate one. Because we for Adobe we had SIA have a whole bunch of videos made by the chief ICT moderator Darren McGuinness from Downpatrick Primary School on the SIA website at the moment, and I just wanted to update those videos with the current version of Adobe Express, and wasn't allowed to happen unless it was made by SIA. So I'm going to say that because they don't have budget for that type of luxury, is that it wouldn't. It's probably very unlikely. I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for it, basically. Because
you see, I thought it was actually brilliant that it was in classes, because now you know exactly what a P7 should be producing, exactly what a P6, and these 3/4 of a level business that don't make sense at all. I think it was better in classes before, but no, apparently is there a Kira McMahon doll? Yeah. So we were told a couple of weeks, end of September, would get this scheme, the golden scheme. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, no, Kira would be, her address is c.mahon@sia.org.uk, I think. Well, it'll be on the SIA website anyway.
Yeah.
Needs a person to ask. But yeah, unfortunately, I just know from my own experience is that it's, unless SIA are making it, it can't just be provided and rubber stamped. Like, even though I have gone and done, like, for the ebook, you know, like for the Adobe ebook, I've gone and said, like, here's where it maps to Northern Ireland curriculum, and Ciara McLaughlin, an ICT coordinator in Northern Ireland, went and mapped it all and did stuff like that, you know, but SIA won't rubber stamp that because they didn't do it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So I wouldn't wait for it, basically. I would just go ahead and do your own best practice.
Yeah. Thank you.
No bother. We've got
Hello, sorry. I was back, but I was just waiting on you to finish talking. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Never again am I doing this in school. So I'd said there at the end, I didn't know if your rep was Mary McClory for Just Too Easy or who it was. But
Yes.
you've finished that conversation now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to zoom on past then into resources and what you maybe want to think about. We were going to do a wee breakout room there, but we're running very short on time. So we were thinking about whether you're auditing. Now, this was something I talked about there in my breakout room, and maybe something that you want to think about. They were talking about staff maybe not knowing what their task was or how to do the task. So maybe doing a staff audit at this time of year would be really useful to figure out what their training needs might be, maybe what resources you might need to think about getting in, or maybe some new digital tools that you might need depending on what tasks staff maybe are changing to do this year or want to do this year. And obviously then part of your role also might move into the hardware side of things and working with C2K and academia depending on your setup. Mm-hmm. The other big one that I think about a lot in my school here is e-safety and digital citizenship. And we would do a lot with our digital leaders with this. So thinking about making sure in your acceptable use policy, in your lessons with children, that you're always bringing them back to e-safety. We're very quick to say, right, we're doing this SIA task, we need to practice this, this, and this, then we need to do the task. But we don't actually teach them how to use digital technology and teach them digital literacy skills. So we need to be very aware of that now in 2025 and moving forward with all the things that are out there. So making sure that you're talking to them about using AI, about how they're protecting themselves online, about respecting others, thinking about kind communication, all of those sorts of things feed into that critical thinking. So checking what has come up in AI that they may have used at home. Is that actually true? Like making them start to think about things a little bit more, because children are very quick to accept something that looks real and just keep moving without maybe thinking about it a little bit further and think, actually, no, that's not true, or that wasn't a real person.
Oh God, love her.
We actually put into our ICT policy a little bit about AI and the use of it in school for pupils and teachers, just again to help with that digital safety side.
Yeah, I think that I have I've gone over it before as well. Like, just I think the bare minimum should be at least one sentence or paragraph that says, you know, don't use any tool that isn't on the C2K system, because C2K have done the risk assessment for it, so on and so forth. And until you have your e-safety committee fully deployed and actioning, we're doing risk assessments on ChatGPT, other tools that aren't provided by C2K, and that it's being tested out, that there is an actual classroom-based, evidence-based practice going on where you're evaluating the tool, so on and so forth. Then you can't just let it be rogue. So yeah, Debs, I'd agree. Something that puts in it just a caveat, just to put a little policy update in for all staff, whether AI is your focus on your school development plan or not, or you focus on your ICT action plan or not. It's the reality of world right now. So we can't just bury our heads in the sand and ignore it. Got to put something into your policies there just to keep everyone safe.
Thank you, Deborah and Nicole.
We got you.
And then the last thing I was going to talk about is staff support. So it kind of feeds back into that auditing. So highlighting what training's needed, supporting staff and advising on digital tools and apps that they could use. So giving them the ideas, don't just say, here's your task, off you go. So give them those stepping stones, that structure for them, and then ask them, how's it going? Even just like a check-in in the staff room, because you know people yourselves in school that aren't keen on doing it, or that necessarily aren't confident in doing it either. So it's just that way, how's it going today? One of the staff last week said to me, oh, could I just have a refresher on Active Inspire at lunchtime? So we just had 10 minutes and now she's off using it again. She's just forgotten over the summer. So it's just those little things to get buy-in from people and keep them positive with them. And then you're approachable and they want to come and ask you, which albeit in your normal daily teaching life and being a coordinator can be quite time consuming at times, but unfortunately it's just part of our role.
Yeah, especially when we have the luxury of a technician like post-primaries.
I know I am very, very lucky in where I am. I do have a technician because I'm part of a post-primary, but it's still time consuming. So we've ditched another breakout room because it's 4:15 and we're supposed to be finished, but we're still going to share a couple before we finish up. So on your screen now, you will see lots of Adobe Express links and ideas. So you've got your 45 lesson pack community, which gives you loads of different ideas for how other people are using it in schools. You'll have ideas for video tutorials on there, live lessons are on there that are all now pre-recorded, so you can dip back into them. You don't need to sign in. Obviously, at times it can be really good for us, but there's ones I've dipped into in America that are being used that obviously aren't in our time zone, and they've been excellent rather than someone, Dom Trainer probably, who does a lot of them. He's excellent. But again, they're there for you to go back and have a look at. There's also some Adobe Leader courses on there, so you can do some little training courses and get your own refreshers maybe, or get your staff in those directions as well for them to do. They're self-paced courses, and you can get your level 1 badge at the end, which is really good to have. The live lessons that are coming up in the next coming weeks are on there as well for you. So if you want to take note of that wee link or that QR code, so then you've got it. And I see Nicole's popping it in the chat. There's also at the minute Adobe Innovator applications are open. So if you're using Adobe Express in your school at the minute, all you need to do is make a little 2-minute video about how you've been using it creatively. I was going to say creatively, definitely not a word. And pop that on via Adobe Express on a share-only link, and then fill in. The form only takes you a couple of minutes. And then you'll be an Adobe Innovator and you might be called upon to do all manner of things. You might get some swag. You might get an invite from Nicole to do some talking somewhere. You never know. Okay. And then our last couple of things, because I know everyone's tight on time and probably needs to get on before we do our Q&A, are some takeaways on the screen. So things that you can check out. So you've got your ACE links that I popped on there. You've got Did You Know This or DKT workshops. Your Linktree link is on there. And also just a wee reminder to share what you need for your upcoming sessions, albeit today was a bit disastrously for me, so I apologize. But next time I will hotspot off my phone and we will be all good.
I'm just going to nip in here at this stage and say this last week and a half, I have probably been quite back to back with consultancy calls, people just wanting to like book in their training for this academic year, and we are getting booked and busy, which I'm so very grateful for. I know some of you have to get your TPL plans sent off to the minister by the end of this month. So if that on that Linktree, the Did You Know This one, I've put up a booking form just to kind of speed things up a little bit for you instead of having to email back and forth. You can put in a booking form and basically book a call with me, and also a little overview of some of the training and the workshops that we can provide, just so that I can try and give you as close an amount of availability as possible. I'll also share it out on social media later on today. Slides and recordings, Grania, are definitely going to be available afterwards. They'll be sent out to everybody here. Okay.
Okay. And the last thing I was going to point out, now I know there is a waiting list, but I'm sure people will drop out of it in the coming week. As we all know, things come up in school. But there is an outdoor learning course at Stranmillis. It should be appearing on your screen now. My computer's going slow again. And I've put a little QR code on there for you. It is run by academia and Apple, and it's through the EA. So it is all about outdoor learning with your iPad. It is next Thursday, the 25th of September. So hopefully we'll see some of you there if you're already booked, or if not, join the waiting list to book on. It'll be a really good day out and you'll get to meet lots of ICT like-minded people.
Yay.
And that brings me to the end of our very close 45 minutes, 5 minutes over session. So
well done, Catherine.
No, it's okay. Sorry, Nicole, go for it.
No, I was like, well done. You were tackling tech issues like a pro there. We all vibed it out there, so don't be one bit stressy about it. Yeah, Catherine and I are basically going to hang around for Q&As.
Yeah.
So if anybody needs to hop off now, you absolutely can. But also we've carved out a few more minutes of our time. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you so much for being patient with us. Oh well, me, not us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank